Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna start a new series, What If Hinata Did Solo Leveling Part 1. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
Okay class, pay attention, this stuff is likely to come up on your graduation exams tomorrow. I know you're all tired and want to go home, but any extra knowledge you can accumulate can be the difference between success and failure, said Uruka as he looked around. Hinata could see that her classmates were reacting in different ways when she looked around the classroom. Shoji was eating a bag of chips next to Shikamaru while he slept on the desk. At the same time, Kiba was trying to get Akamaru to pee on Nara's head while he was sleeping. Ino and Sakura were arguing next to Shino while he was trying to focus on taking notes on the lecture. It looked like they were competing for Sasuke's attention, and the boy in question looked like he wanted to stick a rusty kunai in Shino's eye. Hinata never understood why all the girls were so interested in Sasuke. She thought he might look good from some angles. Well, as good as someone with hair like a duck's behind could look. But he didn't have a very good personality. She felt bad for the boy because he had lost his clan. But that wasn't a reason to treat everyone so badly, especially since many of the villagers seemed to be happy for him. There was no way she could hide the fact that she was jealous because her family would not allow her to be there. She wasn't stupid. She heard the talk about marrying her off and making Hanabi the heiress. She tried really hard, but she just couldn't figure out the clan's juke and gentle fist. It was like something in her mind just wouldn't click. She practiced the katas over and over again, but they didn't help. In fact, she was better at the style taught at the academy. She shook her head to get rid of these bad thoughts, and her eyes went to the boy sitting by the window. The sun-kissed blonde hair and cute little whisker marks on his face made her heart race. In a soft voice, Hinata said, "Naruto-kun." Her cheeks were getting warmer. There was a boy named Uzumaki Naruto who caught Hinata's attention ever since he saved her from those mean kids years ago. It all began when she saw him around the village but was too shy to say thank you. She eventually became interested in Naruto watching and would stand and watch him walk around the village. She was amazed by what she saw. The boy never gave up. Every time she went home, she was about to cry because of how the villagers treated him, but she had only seen him cry once. He would usually get back up, smile brightly, and keep going. When she was a little older, she realized that behind those big smiles that never reached his eyes, there was pain. Naruto was so strong that she kept going even though the whole village laughed at her, even though she was about to give up because of what her own clan expected of her. Hinata said with love, "Naruto-kun, you're really amazing." She was thinking when Uruka-sensei yelled at Kiba for playing a joke on Shikamaru. This brought the class's attention back to him. "Okay class, just 10 more minutes, then you can go home for the day. The last thing we will be covering is Kikei Genkai bloodline limit. Now who can tell me what a Kikei Genkai is?" Uruka asked me. A lot of hands went up, but Uruka finally picked Sakura. She said, "Yes, Sakura. A Kikei Genkai is a skill that is passed down genetically within a clan, like the Sharingan," Sakura said as she stared at Uchiha with hunger in her eyes. "That's correct Sakura, well done. Now can anyone tell me how a Kikei Genkai develops?" Uruka asked. This time, almost everyone in the class kept quiet and no one spoke up. And Uruka asked, "Anyone?" Someone let out a deep sigh and said, "Troublesome," as they looked around the class again. A Kikei Genkai develops due to a genetic mutation over the course of several generations. The mutated gene can have a variety of effects, which is why there are so many different Kikei Genkai. As it is a genetic trait, the new gene is often not passed down, as is the case with a lot of first-generation Kikei Genkai. This can be seen with the Shodai Hokage Mokuton. It was a recessive gene, which is why Tsunade-sama does not possess it, Shikamaru said in a lazy drawl. "Thank you Shikamaru, very thorough. One other piece of information to keep in mind is while it does not happen often, Kikei Genkai can also change through the generations, developing new skills or becoming something else entirely," Uruka said. This made Hinata wonder if that was why she hadn't used her Byakugan yet. Did she get a recessive or bad copy of the gene in some way? Most Hyuga turned theirs on by the time they were 8 years old, but she wasn't 12 yet and still hadn't. Just as she was thinking about this, the bell rang, letting her know that class was over. Naruto yelled with joy and ran out the door. Hinata shook her head at how happy he was and chose to study for her test tomorrow at home. A soft breeze came in through her window, waking Hinata up from her dreams. Hinata mumbled, Naru-kun. Stop. What if Tusama sees us? With a laugh as she woke up from her dream by passing out. Hinata sat up straight and tried to keep her angry blush in check. She took a moment to take a deep breath because her dream that morning had been too racy for her. She had been having strange dreams for the past 2 weeks ever since she saw Naruto completely sweaty and shining after a long workout. When Hinata calmed down, she looked up and saw a bright blue box floating in the air in front of her. She got confused for a moment, then sealed her hands together and poured chakra all over her body. Kai! She yelled as she tried to break the genjutsu. She was good at finding and getting rid of genjutsu even when she didn't have her Byakugan. This was mostly because of Kurenai Ne-chan. The girl asked, what? That's not a genjutsu? Hinata looked at the blue box more closely now that she wasn't tired from sleep. The Hyuga Hinata the gamer helpful YN. It was different from any genjutsu Hinata had seen before, so she didn't know what to say. T the gamer. She cautiously moved her finger closer and saw that the box was solid. Not correct input. She was surprised when the box responded to her touch. Did she need to choose between the two options? She pressed the yes button slowly while she waited for something to happen. Call name. Hyuga Hinata. Type. The gamer. The heir to the Hyuga clan. Level 6 express to the next level, 508/100ths. The gamer is a highly developed space, reality Kekkei Genkei. It can change reality to a certain extent by tapping into the consciousness of the world, but only after doing actions in the universe to get more information. You can make big changes to your physical and mental skills much faster with the gamer ability than with normal training. Users and people they've made a party with can only see the gamer ability. The party ability is locked until level 20. The gamer ability lets you make dynamic skills and jutsu. You can type in status, perks, skills, reputation, and inventory as commands. The gamer ability lets your character grow and improve in a deep way. This is the end of the basic tutorial. If needed, advanced tutorials can be accessed. Hinata could only watch with her mouth open, which was not at all like Hyuga. She asked, space, reality Kekkei Genkei. No one had told her that the Yondaime Hokage's signature move, the Hiraishin, was a space-time ninjutsu. She had never heard of a move that could change reality, though. This could explain why she hadn't unlocked the Byakugan yet, though. Or she might not have been able to. Hinata knew she needed to get to the academy quickly or she would miss the chance to become a genin. Her mysterious bloodline would have to wait. I made a new quest. How to do it? Get to the academy on time. Prizes. 125 express better standing with Konoha Shinobi. When Hinata saw the message, she pressed yes. She thought she might as well go all out since she wasn't going to be late or anything. Hinata got to the academy early and quickly found her seat. To my surprise, Sasuke, Shino, and Shikamaru were the only ones else there at this point. The quest is over. Reward, 125 EXP. 20. Good standing with Konoha Shinobi. That was interesting. She wasn't sure what XP was used for, but based on what she heard Naruto and Kiba talking about, she thought that once she had enough, she would level up. When she looked around the class, she saw that there were boxes on top of the heads of her classmates. Level 12 for Uchiha Sasuke, level 10 of Aburame Shino. Level 9 for Nara Shikamaru. Through a special act, a special skill has been made. Look at level 1, he thought, this must be that dynamic skill creation. The Uchiha Sasuke 12th grade level. Sasuke is the last Uchiha who is loyal to Konoha. His family was brutally killed by his older brother Itachi, leaving his younger brother with many mental scars. Because of this, Sasuke only wants to get stronger. The Aburame Shino level 10 Shino comes from the Aburame family and is the clan heir. For some reason, Shino is usually very quiet. This is because his hive gets upset when he shows strong emotions. The Nara Shikamaru level 9 Shikamaru is the next king of the Nara clan, and like his father, he is very smart. He is smart about strategy, but like his father, he is often too lazy to use it. The number of OBS has gone up by 1. Hinata was talking about her new discovery with her classmates when the rest of them showed up. Okay class. Today we will start with the written test. Next will be the obstacle course, then the weapons test, and finally sparring. Finally, you will do the academy jutsu. You all have 30 minutes to start. Hinata looked down at her test paper and let out a sigh of relief. She knew she could do this. She wasn't as smart as Sakura or Shikamaru, but this shouldn't be hard for her. There's a new quest. Do well on the test. Score more than 80% to get a bonus. Goal for the bonus. Get more than 90%. Reward. 150 express for each goal met. Hinata worked hard to finish the test. Most of the questions were simple, but some of the later ones were getting harder. Which group of shinobi killed the Nidaime Hokage at the end of the Second Shinobi World War? She really didn't know the answer to this question. It was tough. Think Hinata. I need to take my time getting to the answer. Okay, Kumo was the main enemy in that war, so it makes sense that it was a Kumo shinobi. Who were the important people in Kumo at the time? I know it wasn't the Raikage, so that leaves. Hinata thought to herself, I know the Gold and Silver brothers. She wrote down her answer. The ability to think through a problem has gained 1 point. It's interesting that she could get points for doing things in a certain way. The test was over after 10 minutes. Okay class, 10 minutes, then we move on to the next test, Iruka said. Now was a good time to learn more about her power, so Hinata used this time to go find a quiet place. There was a quiet status from Hinata. Call name. Hyuga Hinata. Type. The gamer title. Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Level 6 to 625, 800 experience to move up to the next level. 140 hydrogen phosphide carbon monophosphide. 155 for strength. 17 for dexterity, 5 for agility, 4 for vitality. 5 for intelligence, 8 for wisdom, 1 for charisma. Status: if you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Asterisk plus 50% EXP to asterisk skills and shuriken point. 0. Bonus. 1 Ryo. 0 Hinata didn't think that was too bad overall. She was upset that her Juken had been punished, but she knew that she was shy. That question mark skill, on the other hand, interested her. Iruka yelled, okay class, get ready for the obstacle course. As Hinata walked over, she couldn't help but notice a few more classmates. Aki Haruno Sakura level 5. Since Sakura comes from a normal family, she didn't have any shinobi training before. She is very smart, just a few degrees below Nara, but she can't do much because she is a fangirl. The Yamanaka Ino level 5. Ino is the heir to the Yamanaka family. She is a bit vain and cares a lot about how she looks, but she is also smart and good at gathering information. The Inuzuka Kiba 8th level. After his sister, Kiba is second in line to lead the Inuzuka clan. He is rude and loud, but he wears his heart on his sleeve. If he cares about you, he would do anything for you. The Akamichi Choji level 7. Choji is the heir to the Akamichi clan. He is a kind giant who doesn't want to hurt anyone, but if you say the F word, he'll get very angry. Views level has gone up by 1. Okay class, it's the obstacle course. The record time is 1:23 and a passing time is 3 o'clock. Please make a line, Iruka said. A new quest has been made. Race to the end. Goal. Do well on the test. Extra goal. Finish in less than 2 hours. Extra goal. Set a new record for the academy. 100 express as a reward bonus, 1 to 150 experience points. Second bonus. 200 experience points. Naruto set the record time so far with a time of 1:53. He was very good at obstacle courses because he could run faster than Enbu patrols. Alright, next up is Hinata, Iruka said. Ahead of the race, Hinata got ready at the starting line. She sped off and dodged a kunai shot from an automatic cannon as she jumped into the air to land on a suspension bridge. She used her natural balance and poise to get across quickly. The next obstacle was a climbing wall that was hard for her because she wasn't very strong. Finally, it was a dash to the finish line. Not bad Hinata 201, your first half was great, but I think you need to work on your strength and stamina. Hinata tried to catch her breath and said, yes, sensei. The quest is over. Hinata pushed the accept button quickly because she was too tired to pay attention at this time. XXXXXX Hinata did well on the weapons test, getting a 7 out of 10. She came in second for girls, behind Sakura, who got an 8. Boys did better than the girls. Naruto got a 7 and Sasuke got a perfect 10, which made the other girls go crazy. Hinata smiled and thought to herself, "Congratulations Naruto-kun." That test gave her another 75 express, which meant that the last thing she had to do was fight the teachers. The Uzumaki Naruto level 6. Not much is known about Naruto's family or past, and most people in Konoha seem to hate him for some reason. New quest Medea reason to smile. Find out what the villagers don't like about Naruto. Surfacing Naruto with the truth is an extra goal. Reward: 8,000 experience points, bonus reward. Bonus reward. Why? And Hinata didn't even think of it as a question. She pressed yes, and was set on finding the answer. Hinata scowled as she watched Naruto's match against Mizuki-sensei. She thought Mizuki was much rougher on Naruto than the others, and she thought the man was going after his joints and other places that could do long-term damage. When you calmly look at an enemy, your intelligence goes up by 1. Okay Hinata, you're up. You need to land 3 hits, Iruka said. Avenge your man. A new quest has been made. It's not enough to land 3 hits to beat Mizuki. Reward: 600 Express. Naruto will give you plus 50 reputation. Why? And Hinata wasn't angry easily. She was one of the most forgiving people she knew. But for years she had seen people step on Naruto, and even though she might not be brave enough to talk to him, she could at least do this for him. When Hinata stepped into the ring, he didn't use a Juken stance, but one from the academy style of taijutsu. Mizuki smiled condescendingly because he knew that Lil Hinata wasn't very good at sparring, so he lowered his guard a bit. Mizuki 20th level. Mizuki is an adult who works as a teacher at the academy and is angry at Uzumaki Naruto. She couldn't make it in her field, so she chose to teach at the academy. The level of observe has gone up by 1. At that moment, Hinata rushed forward and threw a punch at Mizuki's solar plexus. Mizuki was still a chunin, so even though his guard was down, he was able to block the blow, but it did throw him off balance. Hinata kept going with the force of her strike, flipped on one foot, spun around his guard, and hit him in the kidney with an elbow. Iruka tried to say, "Good job, Hinata, that's 1 strike," but Hinata kept going and hit the stunned chunin with a bunch of blows. Mizuki normally would have been able to block this, but he was shocked to see Lil Hinata attack so hard that he let a few blows go through his guard and push him to the edge of the ring. Hinata jumped back for a moment to make room, then sped forward again and jumped into the air to land a devastating roundhouse kick on the chunin's nose, making a sickening crunch sound. Academy Taijutsu gets 1 better. Max Academy of Taijutsu. When Mizuki's strings were cut, he fell to the ground like a puppet and his face was covered in blood. When Hinata landed from her kick, she saw that all of her classmates were staring at her with their jaws open. He said, "Wow, I had no idea Hinata was such a jerk." Naruto's reputation with Uzumaki went up by 100. Finish the quest. Eep, was the last thing Hinata said before she passed out. It felt like all the blood in her body went to her head. When Hinata woke up later, the classroom was empty except for Iruka, who was making grades. "Ah, Hinata, you're awake. The others have already taken their tests, so we're just waiting for you." Iruka told her, "By the way, good job on your test. You got a 91%. The quest is over. 150 express as a reward. Bonus 1 to 150 express. Bonus 2 to 150 express. Thank you, sire. Did Naruto-kun pass?" Hinata spoke slowly. Iruka made a face, and Hinata's heart sank. "I'm sorry Hinata, but he failed the Bushin portion of the test." Saying Hinata was upset would be like saying Naruto only liked ramen. She was crushed. She had hoped against hope that they would end up on the same team so she could spend more time with him and get over being shy. "No, Naruto-kun never gives up, so I shouldn't either," she told herself. No matter what, Naruto will not give up on his goal to become Hokage. It's my job to pass this test and become a genin, so may we continue? Hinata asked her sensei with a bow. Iruka couldn't help but laugh at how much faith the girl had in his favorite blonde. He just wished Naruto would stop being so stupid or the girl would get some guts. Okay Hinata, you know what to do, can you please demonstrate the 3 Academy Jutsu? That's it. She had finally done it. She was now a shinobi of Konoha. As she walked proudly through the Hyuga compound, branch family members smiled at her and her Konoha Hite 8. As she walked through the courtyard, she saw her father and her sister Hanabi fighting. The Hyuga Hiyashi level. Hiyashi is the dad of Hinata and Hanabi. Ever since his wife died, he's been much nicer and stricter with his oldest daughter. Izu Hyuga Hanabi 8th level people in the main family think that Hanabi has more potential than her older sister and see her as a rising star. 200 hydrogen phosphide carbon monophosphide, 155 for strength. 15 for dexterity, 7 for agility, 10 for vitality. 5 for intelligence, 10 for wisdom, 10 for charisma. Hinata's happiness quickly faded when she saw her sister's stats. She thought her observer had leveled up enough to give her new information. Hanabi was only a few years younger than her, but she was already stronger than her. She loved her sister and was happy for her that she was doing well, but she felt bad inside because she knew her father had used those words to describe her. "Oh, hello, Dad," Hinata said to her father in a polite way. "Hinata, I see you passed as planned, but why are you so late?" What Hiyashi said. "I passed out after one of the academy tests," Hinata said. "Disgraceful. Not only do you continue to stutter, you disgrace yourself in front of your peers. Go to your room and reflect on your attitude. Team assignments are tomorrow and I will not have you embarrassing me," Hiyashi said with a steely voice. "Yes Otou-sama." Hinata was sad in her room because she had done well, but her father still didn't think it was enough. She felt sorry for herself when it dawned on her that she had just what she needed to get stronger. Status: the Hyuga Hinata type, the gamer. Title: Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Level 8. 1150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. 140 hydrogen phosphide carbon monophosphide, 165 for strength. 21 for dexterity, 5 for agility, 4 for vitality. 6 for intelligence smarts. 9 for charisma. Present: if you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Asterisk plus 50% EXP to asterisk skills and shuriken 10 points. Bonus: 1 Ryo. 0 She hoped that her gamer ability would help her get stronger, but she had to learn how it worked first. At first, she clicked on all of them. Strength: how much damage you can deal with your body, as well as other strength-related skills like swimming, throwing, climbing, etc. Dexterity: your dexterity affects how quick and flexible you are, as well as your aim and accuracy. Agility: this refers to how quickly you can move your body. It also affects how fast you run and other physical factors. Vitality: each point in vitality is worth 10 HP and affects how much damage you can take and how long you can keep going. This affects how much information you can remember and your overall intelligence. Each point of intelligence is worth 10 CP. Wisdom: how wise you are affects how well you can control your chakras. More wise wisdom opens up new paths, like Genjutsu or Iryo Ninjutsu. Having a high charisma level can help you lead and persuade others. If you have a high charisma level, people will naturally want to be around you, which is also a good thing. After looking at her stats, Hinata decided not to put any points into dexterity because her flexible joints status gave her an extra 2 per level. She also saw that her chakra capacity was a bit low, so she decided to put points into intelligence, and vitality was a must because the obstacle course made her very tired. For now, that was her best choice. Because you were thinking about your future development wisely, your wisdom has grown by 1. No matter what it was, that still left this perk. As you level up, or by doing certain actions or quests, you can get perks, which are bonuses. Hello, Hinata. Perks. Menu of treats. Offers and perks: 1 point for Byakugan. Earth and Water Chakra, 1 point. Chakra Spirit Wind, 1 point. Animal Fire Chakra, 1 point. Earth's Chakra, 1 point. Lightning in the Chakrasha, 1 point. Extra perks not available right now. Hinata knew right away where she was going to spend her points. The Hyuga Hinata type. The gamer title. Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Level 8. 1150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. 200 hydrogen phosphide carbon monophosphide. 205 for strength. 21 for dexterity, 5 for agility, 10 for vitality. 10 for intelligence smarts. 9 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Asterisk plus 50% EXP to asterisk skills and shuriken point. 0. Perk. 0 Ryo. 0 When Hinata raised her vitality and intelligence to 10, she could feel her muscles writhing under her skin and her body getting hot. She could also feel her mind getting sharper. She said, "Wow, this really does work." She cried, "Byakugan," as she sent chakra to her eyes. The veins around her eyes grew bigger, and she could see better than ever, 355 degrees all the way around her, plus about 50 meters on each side. This made Hinata so happy that she cried happy tears. She finally had her Byakugan, and it was wonderful. Hinata spoke of skills. Gamer's Body Max. Gives the user a body that works like a game. Restore HP, carbon monophosphide, and any other state effects that were not normal after sleeping in a bed. Level 20 at most in Academy-style Jujutsu passively makes Taijutsu 20% more damaging. Kunai and Shuriken weapon level. 17 Kunai and Shuriken damage is raised by 17% passively. Level 11 of Stealth passively makes you 11% less visible. Level 5 of Observe information about a person or thing can be gathered by constantly observing them. The amount of information received depends on the level. Karate level of Kawarimi. Max Bushin level, highest. Henge. Highest level, level 1 of Byakugan. Active. When active, sight gets 20% clearer and the user can see 50 meters away. These eyes will notice genjutsu 50% of the time and see right through it 30% of the time. Hinata carefully went over each skill for a few minutes. She noticed that if she leveled up her Byakugan enough, she could become immune to genjutsu. Her gamer's body was also helpful because she didn't have a lot of chakra, but if she could get it back after a long mission break, it would make her much stronger in battle. She clicked on Academy-style Taijutsu by accident as she scrolled down, which brought up a new menu. Skill at its highest level. Would you like to level it up? Hinata chose yes, because she was interested in what this choice was. Juken is an option. At this point, you don't know enough about any other style. For some reason, it let her choose Juken. Hinata quickly pressed the option out of fear that it would go away. You chose Juken. Academy-style Taijutsu will be erased. Do you want to go ahead with this? Hinata said, yes, right away, though. Her mind felt foggy all of a sudden, and the things she had learned over the last few years were hard to remember. She could still do them, but it was like watching someone else do them instead of learning them herself, like watching the stunts in one of those Princess Gale movies. Level 1 for Juken. 1% more dex is passively added. Whis is raised by 1% passively. Finally, after all the times she had failed and had to push herself back up, it was as if the universe was blessing her hard work. Hinata said with a small smile, maybe now Tusama won't think of me as such a dunce. Suddenly, she was very tired. The stress of the tests today and the emotional upheaval from finally being able to use her Byakugan seemed to have worn her down. She changed into her rabbit onesies and fell asleep right away. I wonder who will be on my team tomorrow, was the last thing she thought before she fell asleep. You woke up HP and restored CP. Hinata squished herself even more into her quilts as the sun came in through the open window. The bed was so nice and warm that she didn't want to leave it. She slowly opened one eyelid, but shut it back right away because the light was making it hard for her to see. It felt like her eyes were a little more sensitive than usual, and she could feel her chakra system getting a little weaker. It took a moment, but it looked like she had used her Byakugan without realizing it. Status: the Hyuga Hinata type, the gamer. Title: Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Level 8. 15 1150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP 200 200 CP 195 205 for strength, 21 for dexterity, 5 for agility, 10 for vitality, 10 for intelligence smarts, 9 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Plus 50% EXP to skills and jutsu point. 0. Perk. 0 Ryo. 0 Hinata saw that her chakra pool had dropped because her Byakugan was active. When she went to her skills menu, she realized that she had missed something very important yesterday because she was so excited. Level 1 of Byakugan active. When active, better vision by 20% and the ability to see 50 meters. Half of the time they will notice genjutsu, and the other half of the time they will be able to see through it. It costs 5 CP per minute to use. She could keep Hei Byakugan active for 40 minutes at her current level if she didn't send any chakra out. She felt bad about herself for ignoring this, which was something she shouldn't have done. I'm a genin now, what if I had run out of chakra in a mission because I did not notice, Hinata wondered. She saw that she had some time left before she had to go to the academy, so she chose to at least get a better handle on the basics. There was still time for this, but not enough time to look at the other menus. Level of Kawarimi. Max, it costs 10 CP each time it's used. Bushin level. Highest, it costs 10 CP to make 1 Bushin. Henge. Highest level, it costs 5 CP per minute. She didn't have any other jutsu at the moment, so she chose to see how quickly she could heal. She found that her chakra would heal by 1% every 10 minutes for every 5 points of wisdom she had after clicking on CP. Hinata felt a little bad about herself because she was on wisdom 9. 1 more point and she would heal 2% every 10 minutes. Health seemed to work the same way, except for vitality. From now on, unless she had to, she would hold on to her points until she had more time to think about what she could do. It's possible that she got too excited yesterday. There was some good news, though. She felt stronger than the day before. She just hoped she wouldn't slow down her team. As she pressed her 2 index fingers together, she felt sad because of that thought. What if she froze in the middle of a mission? What if her sensei thought she failed? At first, Hinata felt scared when she thought about all the bad things that could happen. She really wanted to hide under the covers until she thought of a smiling face. I'm going to be Hokage, the greatest Hokage this village has ever seen, Dadbeo. I don't go back on my word, that's my nindo. That's right, Naruto-kun. Never give up. How can I give up before I even become a genin? Hinata asked with determination as she jumped to her feet and walked out of her room with confidence, ready to go to the academy. She got to the front gate of the compound and was about to leave for her first day as a genin when a guard stopped her. Hinata-sama, forgive me for the intrusion, but did you mean to leave the compound dressed in your pajamas? Eep. Thud. Now that Hinata was at the academy, she sat in the very back of the class and did the try and merge with the wall no jutsu to hide her face. It did not work out. A lot of her classmates just thought this was Hinata being Hinata and didn't think any further about it. Any nosy eyes would have been turned away from her by the noise at the front of the classroom. Hey, dead last, this area is only for genin, Kiba yelled. Naruto said with a cocky smile, check out the headband, dog breath. He pointed to the headband that was proudly worn on his forehead. Hinata was thrilled when Naruto-kun graduated, and she secretly celebrated. The Uzumaki Naruto level 9. Not much is known about Naruto's family or past, and most people in Konoha seem to hate him for some reason. 700 hydrogen phosphide carbon monophosphide, 10-30-10 for strength. 10 for dexterity, 15 for agility, 15 for vitality. 3 for intelligence, 3 for wisdom, 4 for charisma. Hinata's eyes got a little bigger. Naruto-kun has so much health and chakra, she whispered. Before she could think about it any further, Iruka walked into the classroom and yelled at everyone to be quiet. Hinata saw that Iruka looked hurt and that tape was covering his stomach and back. Umio Iruka level 27. Iruka works as a teacher at the Konoha Shinobi School. The students really like him because he is always professional. A lot of people think he is really interested in Uzumaki Naruto. 153 hundredths hydrogen phosphide carbon monophosphide, 450 25 for strength. 15 for dexterity, 25 for agility, 20 for vitality. 35 for intelligence smarts. 35-20 for charisma. I was right, Iruka-sensei is only at half health. The level of observe has gone up by 1. With sharp insight and an open mind for observing, wisdom has grown by 1. Hinata was so shocked that she blushed. She wasn't used to being praised, but it still felt good to give herself praise. Okay, quiet down class. Today all of you become shinobi. It has been my pleasure and my privilege to get you all this far. However, this is only the first step. From now on you are all the lowest of the low. You are the grunts of the shinobi world. But even though you may start from the bottom, I believe each and every one of you has the potential to become excellent shinobi, Iruka said proudly. Now Team 1 will consist Ofa. Next up is Team 7, which will consist of Uchiha Sasuke. She thought she saw Ino's hands twitch like they were trying to make hand seals. She could see Sakura and Ino trying to mentally force their will on Iruka-sensei. Haruno Sakura. Sakura yelled, "Cha suck it, Ino, pig, true love wins all." No, Ino yelled. And finally Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto and Sakura both yelled, what? They both yelled, "I have to be on a team with him." "Why you gotta be so mean, Sakura-chan?" Naruto asked her in a sad voice. "HN." Sasuke made a noise. Naruto yelled, "What was that, Teme?" as he jumped up and landed on Sasuke's desk, where he and the boys stared at each other. Sasuke growled, "Get out of my face, Dobi." He replied, "Make me Teme. Go on, Naruto, kick his butt." Kiba yelled as he laughed his ass off next to them, kicking the desk by accident and throwing Naruto off balance. It was like time stopped for Hinata as Naruto stumbled forward and his lips touched Sasuke's. The two girls cried out, "No, it's not his first kiss." Naruto made noises like spitting and said, "Bleg, phew phew. I've been poisoned, get the med ninjas." "You're gonna need med ninjas in a minute, Naruto baka." Sakura yelled as she hit Naruto on the head and started beating him. Ino quickly joined her and they started beating him too. Both girls stopped moving all of a sudden as a deep, overwhelming fear shook them. The Killing Intent project has added a new skill. They both turned around to face Hinata Hyuga. She stared at them with her Byakugan eyes, then turned her attention to Sasuke. She whispered, "Naruto-kun's first kiss. The level of Project Killing Intents has gone up by 1. The level of Project Killing Intents has gone up by 1. The level of Project Killing Intents has gone up by 1. Even though Sasuke wanted to run away in fear, it was only his memories of the Uchiha massacre that kept him from doing so. Naruto was just now getting up after getting hit. He looked around, confused because he had missed the last few minutes, and saw Sasuke frozen in place from Hinata's death glare. "Wow, I was right. Hinata really is a badass," he told her, waking her up and making her glow bright red before she passed out. "What was it that I said?" Naruto asked, making Iruka shake his head at how stupid his students were. And then she totally gave the Uchiha the death glare. He looked like he wanted to piss himself, right, Akamaru? Kiba was happy. "Arf, agreed Akaru. It really was a surprise," Shino said in a low, serious voice. When Hinata woke up, she was sitting in a chair in what looked like the local dango stand. Kiba was talking loudly to one side of her, and Shino was talking to the other. Shino-san. Kiba-san, what are we doing here? I thought we had team selections." Hinata wanted to know. "Finally awake, Sleeping Beauty?" Kiba asked, making Hinata blush red again. He said, "Welcome back, Hinata-san. Why are we here again? When you passed out, our sensei arrived to pick us up. We decided it would be prudent to reconvene at a different location whilst we waited for you to regain consciousness," Shino told us. "I see, thank you both for that. It's okay, Hinata. Your face was priceless, but I don't understand why you don't just tell Naruf," Kiba said as Shino stepped on his foot quickly. "Okay, stop making fun of your teammate, Kiba," said a different voice. Just now, Hinata saw Yuhi Kurenai drinking tea at the other end of the table. She hadn't seen her before. Hinata asked, "Kurenai-ne-chan?" Nice to see you awake, Hinata, but from now on it's Kurenai-sensei while we are on the job at least. Kurenai looked happy. A happy smile spread across Hinata's face as she put two and two together. Well, if you all pass my test, at least it will be Kurenai-sensei, Kurenai said with a smug smile. Wait, what test? Kiba yelled in anger. Shino asked, I have to agree with you, sensei. Aren't we your official genin team? Yes and no, Shino. All the academy did was assess if you have the right to try to become a genin team. It is still up to me as your Junin sensei to make the final call. What more could you need to know? Shino has his cool insects. Hinata just unlocked her Byakugan and I'm awesome, Kiba said proudly. Because of this, Kurenai's eyes got a little bigger. She didn't know that Hinata had unlocked her Byakugan yet, which would make things a little harder. I see. Well then I guess you will all have an easy time passing your test then, Kurenai said. Story quest was made. Do well on your sensei's test. 300 experience points, the title of genin, and a job as a junior teacher. Top secret goal. Secret prize, not good enough. Sent back to the academy. Kurenai turned to the waiter and said, all right, let's try to get to know each other a little better for now. I'll start to give you an example. My name is Yuhi Kurenai. My hobbies are swimming, playing the flute and researching genjutsu. My likes include green tea and nice hot soaks in the hot spring. My dislikes include perverts. The white-haired kind especially, and people who think women can't make effective kunoichi. My dream for the future is to get married and have 3 kids, Kurenai said. Kiba, why don't you go next? Okay, my name is Inuzuka Kiba. My hobbies are training with Akamaru, pottery and hunting. The Kurenai asked, pottery? What? It's relaxing and I'm good with my hands. Anyway, I like spending time with the pups in the kennels and pranking my sister. I dislike people who are cruel to animals. My dream for the future is to prove to the world how effective Inuzuka Ninken are in combat. Very good, Kiba. You next, Shino. My name is Aburame Shino. My hobbies are finding ways to increase the effectiveness of my hive and researching new insects. My likes include black coffee and calligraphy. My dislikes include people who judge on face value, bees and honey. My dream for the future is to breed the ultimate insect. Thank you, Shino. Last up is you, Hinata. Yes, sensei. My name is Hyuga Hinata. My hobbies are flower pressing and knitting. I like cinnamon buns and my sister. My dislikes are bullies and those that are cruel, and my dream for the future is to heal the rift in my family. The waitress brought Hinata a plate of dango and some tea while she was talking. Thank you all, that was very informative. Now eat up, then I'll tell you all about the test. The newly named Team 8 got right into their meal and really enjoyed the sweet treat. Poison detection is a new skill that has been made. When Kurenai blurred his hands and stuck a senbon needle into all 3 genins' necks faster than Hinata could track them, her eyes grew wide with shock. She looked ready to warn her team. Kurenai-sensei. Once Hinata felt like she was awake again, she slowly opened her eyes and saw that she was tied to a tree with Kiba and Shino on either side of her. They were just ahead of Kurenai-sensei, who was talking to a man with dark skin who was wearing a Kumo headband. As promised, the Hyuga clan heir, as well as 2 extras. I take it the Raikage will be pleased with these acquisitions? Kurenai asked. Yes, you have done excellent work. Your admittance to Kumo will be a given. Konoha is on the downward slide. They never recovered after the Kyubi. You made the right choice, the man said. He asked Kurenai-sensei, what's going on? Ha 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 ha, so you're finally awake, brat. Well, your sensei here has done you up good and proper. Sold you right down the river for a spot as a Kumo shinobi. Kiba yelled, shut up, sensei would never do that. The man walked up behind Kurenai and slapped her behind. Ah, genin, they're so cute, he said. This one has been on the take for years funneling us information, and from what she has told me, you are the sorriest excuse for Hyuga she has ever set her eyes on, Kumo shinobi said. Hinata fought back tears and said, why, you're wrong. Oh, I see I'm wrong. Please forgive me, he said with a sneer. Did you never wonder why a Junin would take interest in the heiress nobody ever wanted? She was getting close to you all for this day. After the first failed attempt, we realized we needed to be more subtle in our approach. The Aburame and Inuzuka were just a bonus. Not as good, but they will become fine breeding stock. You on the other hand will help populate a whole new clan for Kumo. If you're lucky I may even sample the goodsa, but then again that might just make your sensei jealous. He laughed loudly. Raigo, that's enough, Kurenai replied. I'm not here to torture the kids, I just want what's due to me. Let's go over there and discuss terms, then move out. Hinata didn't understand any of this, but she decided to at least try to learn something about this new Kumo nin. But whenever she tried to watch him, nothing would happen. Raigo told him, fine, spoil sport. As they walked away, Hinata could feel the tears she had been holding back start to flow freely down her face. That hurt her deeply because Kurenai was the big sister she had always wanted and the only person who had ever supported her. Finding out that it was all a lie was too much for her to handle. She was so upset that she didn't notice the bugs that landed on her ropes and started to eat them. Shino said calmly, Hinata-san, please calm down. It's very upsetting, but we need to focus on escape. The frantic buzzing sound coming from him was the only sign that this was all a show. Hinata tried to calm down by taking a deep breath. Okay Shino, I'm fine for now, she said, but she didn't really mean it. Kiba-san, can Akamaru gnaw his way free? Shino asked Kiba, who was on the other side of the tree. The angry Kiba said, no, they gagged him, and I can't reach a kunai. He was upset that his partner was tied down. Shino asked Hinata, can you use your Byakugan to find out where they are? Hinata felt a little stupid for not realizing earlier that she had been channeling chakra into her eyes, but all of a sudden, she felt a shooting pain go through them. Arg, there's something stopping me from using my eyes. Hinata cried out in pain. That had never happened before. As soon as she tried to send chakra to her eyes, they exploded in unbearable pain. She was still able to send chakra to the rest of her body, but her dujutsu didn't work anymore. In that case the best thing to do is to remain quiet whilst my insects chew through these ropes, Shino said. Kibi asked, do we know where we are? I am uncertain. It would appear we are not far from Konoha, but the trees are obscuring the sun, so I cannot be certain how long we have been unconscious for, said Shino. The Kiba, who was getting angry, growled, damn. At least they have not come back yet, I can still smell them over in the other clearing. Hinata didn't want to be a bother, so she looked around the clearing to see what else she could say. The clearing they were in wasn't very interesting, but there were some pretty blue lilies growing in the shade. Hinata whispered, Shino-san, Kiba-san, I think I know where we are. This made her two teammates pay attention. Those lilies growing over there, they are a plant native to the land of fire and like to grow in the northern Konoha forest, so we can't be more than 10 miles from the village. Both of her teammates stopped moving when they heard this. That's right, Kiba said as he sniffed the air, it's faint, but I can still make out the smell of the village. Shino-san, how long will it take your insects to chew through this rope? Hinata asked me. He replied, about another minute, and his teammates nodded to show that they agreed. As Team 8 prayed and hoped that their captors wouldn't come back too soon, that minute seemed to last forever. The ropes that were holding them together finally let go, and Team 8 looked at each other before running out of the clearing and into the trees. Even though they were moving quickly through the branches, they had to slow down so that Shino could keep up since he wasn't very physically fit. That's how fast they were going. The 10 miles should take them 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the terrain. Damn it, I can't believe Sensei was a traitor. I mean, we trusted her and she was just going to sell us to Kumo. Kiba cried out. I mean, that's sick, breeding stock. When we get back we need to get an ambush squad sent after her, he said. Shino tilted his head to Hinata and said, Kiba-san, please keep your feelings in check. You are not the only one who is suffering right now. Since they got away, Hinata had been quiet. Her whole world had turned upside down, and she didn't know what to think. It didn't feel right. She had known Kurenai for years and thought she was lovely. It didn't make sense for her Kurenai-san to be with the woman in the clearing. Then it clicked, even though it might not have been possible at first. There was a quiet status from Hinata. The Hyuga Hinata. Type: the gamer. Title: heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Status effect: seal that stops dojutsu. Level 8. 1150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP: 200 200ths. CP: 200 200ths. 5 for strength, 21 for dexterity, 5 for agility, 10 for vitality, 10 for intelligence, 10 for wisdom, 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Jukin techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Question mark. Plus 50% express 2. Skills and jutsu. Point. 0. Perk. 0. Ryo. 0. It was a suppressant seal. She knew it had to be somewhere on her, so she stopped to look for it. They got a few yards ahead before stopping because they knew Hinata wasn't with them anymore. Hinata-san, we need to hurry, they could notice we are gone any moment now, Shino told him. One moment Shino-san, there is a suppressant seal on me preventing me from using my Byakugan, just one moment I have almost got it, Hinata smiled. He replied, Hinata-san, I don't see why this is important. Hinata went back to her teammates before she could settle her face into a determined look. It is important, Shino-san, because I think I have figured this out, said Hinata. Kiba asked, Figured out what, Hinata? That none of this makes sense, she answered. Of course it makes no sense, our sensei just betrayed us. Kiba said loudly. She said again, No, Kiba-san, I mean it doesn't make sense. Just think about it, Kurenai sensei is one of the kindest people I have ever known and she would not do something like this. Hinata told me. I understand you may be reluctant to believe this, but clearly we did not know sensei as well as we thought, said Shino. Hinata replied, It's not just that. Think about it, she drugged us in the middle of Konoha during the day. Since we are from 3 important clans, this would not go unnoticed, Hinata said, making Shino look thoughtful. Kiba replied, She is a Junin, Hinata, so I'm sure she could get away with it. Hinata frowned and said, Even if we agree with you, she is a Junin, and as such, you would think she would be able to make a prison that 3 new genin couldn't get out of so easily. Shino's eyebrows raised a little in understanding, and Kiba seemed to have calmed down to think. She also thought to herself, Not only that, but my power didn't work on that Kumo Inn. Hinata asked, Also, what does sensei specialize in? Genjutsu, Kiba asked. Genjutsu, proof from Hinata. If this were a kidnapping, there would have been no reason to seal my Byakugan, as it would not have helped us escape. However, if this was a test, Byakugan, Hinata cried out. Hinata told the forest, You can come out now, Kurenai sensei. Clap 3 times. As Kurenai came into view, she said, I have to say I am impressed. I was ready to pass you guys if you just escaped and made it back to the village, but Hinata, that was some impressive deduction. Kiba yelled, What, sensei? As he stepped back to defend himself. While your willingness to protect your team is admirable, Kiba, you need to stand down. The test is over. I am proud to announce that we are officially Team 8 Inches, Kurenai said proudly. Story quest is over. Do well on your sensei's test. 300 experience points, the title of genin, and a job as a junior teacher. Secret goal. Look under the underside of the underside to find the answer to your genin test. 1 perk point is a secret reward. Kiba asked, Wait, so we pass? Kurenai laughed and said, Yes, Kiba, you passed. Kurenai walked over to her new team, knelt down in front of them, and hugged them. I'm so proud of you 3, and I'm sorry I put you through something so terrible, she said. Little by little, Hinata said, It's okay, Kurenai sensei. I'm just glad this is over. She buried herself deeper in the hug. So am I. Team 8 was very tired when they got back to Konoha. They went to a small tea shop called the Dragon of the West, which had the best cinnamon buns and tea in the whole land of fire. After sitting down and eating all the sweets, Hinata felt a lot better. All right, team, we need to do our debrief now, Kurenai said, making Kiba groan. Kurenai said in a stern voice, The sooner we do this, the sooner we can all go home. And since you look so eager, we'll start with you, Kiba, Kurenai said, making the boy who looked like he was wild groan even more. Kurenai told Kiba, You showed a great willingness to work with and trust your team, and you were also quick to defend them if necessary. That is an admirable trait. Kiba puffed out his chest with pride. However, your big mouth gave out mission-critical information. I informed you all that I would be testing you, Not when it started and you gave me information I previously had no access to. If I had not known, Hinata would have worked out the deception much sooner. One of the things you will be working on is information control. Hiba was admonished by Kurenai. Shino, you were incredibly calm and helped your team escape its bonds. You were cool and collected in the field, which is something some Shunin don't understand. However, you are the least physically skilled in the group, which slows them down and could be disastrous on a mission. My advice to you is to make less use of your clan's techniques and improve your physical strength, Kurenai said, getting Aburame to nod. Lastly, Hinata, you showed great intelligence and insight, which is a very important trait for a leader to have. But you got too emotional on mission, and if you made the wrong choice, it could have killed everyone on your team. Kurenai told him, you need to cool down your feelings and be more objective on mission. Your reasoning was sound, but it was also based on your feelings. For a tracking and scouting team, which this team will most likely become, evading enemies and escaping capture are necessary skills. Seeing that Genin Kurenai had a sad aura around her, she continued, despite that, all of you did much better than expected. I didn't expect you to find the real secret of the test. Now go home and sleep, and then come see me at Training Field 8 at 7 a.m. Yes, Master. All three Genin said. You woke up HP and restored CP. Yesterday was a very hard day for Hinata, both physically and emotionally, but she felt stronger because of it. After meeting Shino and Kiba, Kurenai-sensei went back to the compound to check on her and make sure she was okay. She thought she might have been too hard on the new Genin, and Hinata knew that she had been very stressed out before her Junin exams 6 months before. Hinata could tell Kurenai was feeling better when she said she didn't have any bad feelings, even though she was the one being psychologically attacked the most. Though she was no longer a child, she was ready to forgive and forget. The cinnamon buns as an apology didn't hurt either. Hinata looked to her right and saw that it was 5 a.m. She chose to get up. The reason she got up so early was to play around with her bloodline some more. She got out of bed, took a quick shower, and changed into her shinobi clothes. She sat down at her desk and said, Reputation, after getting ready for the day. The reputation system lets you keep track of what one person or group of people thinks about a user. A better reputation gives you access to more quests, more dialogue options, more romance options, discounts in shops, and advantages in battle. This is how the reputation chart is kept track of. Vilified, hated, disliked, neutral, liked, friendly, honored, and exalted. A reputation score of 1000 means that it can go up one level after reaching this level. Neutral A16 1000ths for Kohoa Shinobi. Civilians of Konoha. Neutral, 0 1000ths. Hyuga main family. Not liked 0 1000ths. Hyuga branch family. Not very friendly 0 1000ths. Hyuga Hiyashi. Not liked 0 1000ths. 0 1000ths for Hyuga Hanabi being friendly. 0 1000ths for Hyuga Neji being hated. Naruto Uzumaki a 130 out of 1000 likes. Uchiha Sasuke. Not liked 0 1000ths. Neutral a 0 1000ths for Haruno Sakura. Yamanaka Ino. Neutral, value, 0 1000ths. Neutral and 0 1000ths for Akamaiki Choji. Nara Shikamaru is neutral and scores 0 1000ths. Liked a 0 1000ths for Inazuka Kiba. Liked. 0 1000ths by Aburame Shino. 0 1000ths for Yuhi Kurenai a honored. As Hinata looked at this list, which proved what she already felt, she smiled in a sad way. Disliked by my own father, she said in a low voice. She always knew that her father was upset with her because she didn't act like a Hyuga. She was too soft, as he put it. Kurenai had always told her she was a great person and not to worry about what other people thought, but it was hard to believe when it was written down. Neji was another sore spot. Her cousin had blamed her father for his actions toward her when she was almost taken by Kumo. But since he couldn't say he hated the clan leader, hatred moved to her instead. She let him hate her because she thought that letting him vent would help his heart heal and he would return to being the nice Neji Ni-san who used to push her on the swings and steal her cinnamon buns from the kitchen. Actually, Neji Ni-san always said she was weak, and she might have been. Hurting people never made her happy. She actually wished she could heal them instead. Hyugas were not fit to be medic ninjas, so she would never be able to become one. However, she loved making healing salves in her spare time. She felt bad about this because she thought the Hyuga clan would have the best doctors the elemental nations had ever seen. They would be able to tell if someone is sick just by looking at them. She might be able to change, though, and get stronger over time. She wouldn't do this for herself, but to help heal her clan. Hinata was determined, so she chose to look at the next menu. Inventory. You can put things in and take them out of a closed dimension pocket from the inventory screen. You can also equip items directly to your body from the inventory screen. This has an immediate effect. The inventory system lets that item be put away and taken out in the same condition it was in when it was first added. Hinata's eyebrows went up to her hairline. This was amazing. It might not seem like much, but it would let her store more food and other gear in the field, seemingly without any limits. On top of that, it would save money on storage scrolls and not require any sealing skills. She could also change her gear on the spot, which was amazing. She was like a walking armory. The equipment screen is a part of the inventory screen. This is where you can manage your equipment and see what bonuses they give you. Things used. Head. Konoha Hitai 8, plus 10% experience from missions done by the mission office. Back. Jacket with a hood. Arms. Not given. Shinobi sandals for feet. Add-on. None. Hinata went to her closet and took off a few more clothes. She then played around with her inventory by putting them on, taking them off, and storing them. She also got all of her kunai and shuriken and put them all in her inventory, along with the 5 soldier pills she still had. You're done with all of the basic tutorials. 50 experience points and 500 ryo as a reward. The Hyuga Hinata. Type. The gamer. Title. Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher. Kuranaya Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 365 1150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP. 200 200ths. CP. 200 200ths. 5 for strength. 21 0.21 for dexterity. 5 for agility. 10 for vitality. 10 for intelligence. 10 0.1 for wisdom. 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Question mark. Plus 50% express 2. Skills and jutsu. Point. 0. Bonus. 1. Ryo. 500. Because Kuranai was her teacher, she got an extra point for intelligence and wisdom every level, as well as 2 points for dexterity. She also remembered that her last mission gave her a new title. Genin. Plus 50 HP and CP while equipped. The truth was that wasn't so bad. She could wear her Hyuga Heiress title while she trained and her Genin title while she was on missions. The one thing she did notice was that her current gear wasn't really helping her defend herself. This might have been okay at the academy, but now it wasn't right. She needed money to change her gear, which meant she had to go on missions. She could have asked her family for money, but being able to take care of herself was more important. It was 15 minutes early for Hinata to get to Team 8's training ground, but Kiba and Shino were already there, sitting idle. Hinata had to hold back a laugh. Kiba was very loud and boisterous, and Shino was very quiet, so they didn't know how to talk to each other. She sat down next to them and said, "Good morning, Kiba-san and Shino-san." They said, "Good morning," or, "Morning. I hope you both have not been waiting long." She told me. "Don't worry about it," Kiba said with a big smile. "Hinata, Shino and I have only been here a few minutes. Man, I can't believe we are really genin. What do you think our first mission is going to be? I bet we will be rescuing a princess or taking down a missing nin. Man, this is going to be awesome," Kiba said. Hinata didn't know what the missions were either because every time she asked an older shinobi, all they did was pat her on the head and smile. Logically they would not have new genin performing such important tasks, I imagine we would be assigned easier missions, perhaps guard duty or patrolling our borders, Shino thought. That does seem more likely, but I think we can do it if we work together as a team, or even as friends, Hinata said, stuttered and blushing near the end. Kiba and Shino looked at Hinata, who was blushing, and nodded together. They had already decided to try to get the shy girl to open up a bit, but they could tell she was already doing a good job. Yes, Hinata, Kiba replied with a smile. That would be fine, Shino said, but his face was hidden by his clothes. With Inuzuka Kiba and Aburame Shino, reputation went up by 200 points. She smiled as she looked up at her two teammates. Hinata didn't have many friends, so she was glad her teammates seemed like they would like to try. A voice from behind them said, "Well, I'm glad to see you all getting along so well." There was a Kurenai-sensei sound. You will be with your genin teammates for a large portion of your career, so it's good if you get along. It may come a time when you will have to entrust your life to them and theirs to you, she added. Hinata, Shino, and Kiba gave her a serious look and then nodded their heads to each other. Anyway, it's my responsibility to get you into shape. As you know, I specialize in genjutsu, but all Junin have to have a grasp on most areas, so don't worry. I also know all three of you are clan children, so I won't try to interfere with that training, but I will try to supplement it and make sure you are all more efficient all round. So to give you a brief overview on what we will be covering, I will teach you all advanced chakra control exercises, genjutsu if you show a capacity for it, or just how to dispel it if not, and I will also work with you on individual issues. Shino, we will work on your taijutsu and try to create a style that utilizes your clan techniques as well as improve your overall fitness. Kiba, we will work on tactics and how best to utilize combat space and perhaps get you started with a weapon. Hinata, I think a few genjutsu would work well with your arsenal, but a lot of our training will involve sparing to get you used to engaging an opponent. I think this will be enough to start you all off with, and we can assess your progress as we go. Does that sound good? The three genin all said, "Yes, sensei." Now that that's out of the way, who wants to go do their first mission? Team 8 went to the mission office and waited calmly while their sensei took a mission from the desk Chunin. All right, team, it's time for your first D-rank mission. As Team 8, our first job is to watch some kids for someone in the village. I made a new quest. Task: watch over some kids in the area. Prizes: 50 yen. 50 express. YN. What do you want us to do? Yelled Kiba, who wasn't having any fun. Kiba, you heard me right, we're going to watch some kids. As a shinobi, you always finish the mission, so don't you think you can handle a few kids? Kurenai made fun of him. Ha, please sensei, this will be a piece of cake, those kids won't know what hit them, said Kiba. Hinata just shook her head at how simple it was to trick Kiba. XXXXXXX. They had been with the kids for 30 minutes, and one of the babies had already peed on Kiba's jacket. He was about to lose it. I'm not overreacting. You can say what you want when your sense of smell is better, Shino. Kibi yelled. Calm down, Kiba-san, or you'll wake up the kids, Hinata said in a soft voice. Besides, it's not that bad, I am sure no one else will notice it, said Hinata. The skill of acting was made possible by a special action. Kiba replied, Really, you think? Thanks, Hinata. While Team 8 took care of the babies, time kept going by. Before they knew it, 3 hours had passed, and their mission was over. The quest is over. Prizes: 50 yen. 50 express. When they got paid, Hinata put her pay into her inventory in a sneaky way. It wasn't much, but it was something. Since it was your first day, Kurenai said, Okay team, let's do some sparring and then call it a day. Meet me at our training ground. She then disappeared into a swirl of leaves. While Team 8 was still at the training ground, their sensei was already there to greet them. Okay team, when we are not doing missions or working on you individually, we will be doing sparring to get you more used to combat. Each of you will face each other, and after each round I will give you 20 minutes to rest. Match 1 will be Shino versus Hinata. There is a new quest now. Quest: fighting Shino with a sword. Goal: get rid of Shino. Prizes: 250 express for success. Not working. 100 express. YN. Before going up against Shino, Hinata presses the yes button on her screen and decides to watch him. Abraham Shino is his name. Level 10, 250/250ths HP. CP, 350/350ths. 3 for strength, 4 for dexterity, 3 for agility, 15 for vitality, 20 for intelligence. Sense, 20, 1 for charisma. Kurenai yelled, and start. Hinata rushed in quickly to stop Shino from fighting because she knew her physical stats were much lower than her own. She wanted to do this without hurting Shino so that she wouldn't have to. Hinata closed the distance quickly enough and aimed a palm strike directly at her opponent. He was able to avoid it and hit her in the jaw with his own attack. HP 190/200ths. One of Hinata's abilities told her exactly how much damage she had taken, which was helpful. That blow should have hit her, but she felt very stiff and awkward while she was fighting. As Hinata thought about her options, Shino moved back and threw a series of shuriken at her. She just barely avoided them by rolling to the side. She thought that one of the shuriken must have hit her in the neck and caused the small prick. Shino kept attacking by throwing weapons at her, but she was quick enough to avoid them because she was so skilled. As she tried to avoid being hit, it suddenly occurred to her that the reason she felt so awkward was because she was still trying to fight with Academy Katas she barely remembered instead of her known Juken. Even though it was kind of expected, this was her first real fight after learning the skill. It was still a mistake. After avoiding the latest attack from Shino's weapons, Hinata took a more solid stance, ignoring the stinging feeling in her legs, where she thought she must have been caught a few more times. She then launched herself at Shino with much more grace and fluidity. When Shino saw Hinata charging, she fired one last desperate attack, but Hinata just made it through. She then hit the boy in the chest with a chakra-enhanced blow. "Please give up, Shino-san. I don't want to hurt you," Hinata said while standing above Shino's downed body as a defense. The Shino in front of her turned into a swarm of bugs all of a sudden, and Hinata felt a sharp pain in her shoulder. HP 170/200ths. Hinata grunted and reached behind herself to pull out the kunai that was stuck in her shoulder. She quickly turned around, but was hit in the jaw, sending her to the ground. 160/200ths HP. When she looked up, her teammate was kneeling next to her with a kunai stuck to her throat. Kurenai said, "All right, that's enough. Shino is the winner. Quest failed. Quest. Fighting Shino with a sword. 100 express as a reward." Shino reached out and helped Hinata get up. She thanked him with a meek smile and then stood up and patted herself on the back. "Good job, Shino. That was a simple but effective plan you used. Now, do either of you know what Shino did?" "Why?" Kurenai asked. Hinata said, "I'm sorry, Sensei, but I don't know." "Sensei, he made a copy before the match, right?" Kiba replied. "That's right, Kiba. As soon as I announced that we would be sparing, Shino made a clone and switched places, hiding himself in the tree line, and as soon as Hinata attacked he sent out his Kikaichu insects to start sapping her chakra while she fought the clone. Is that right, Shino?" Kurenai said. "That is a correct assessment, Sensei. Due to Hinata-san being distracted and neglecting to activate her Byakugan, I was able to hide from sight, slowly siphoning off her chakra and then surprise her after she believed she had defeated me," said Shino. Hinata was shocked and went to her status menu to make sure she understood what was being said. The Hyuga Hinata. Type: the gamer. Title: heir of the Hyuga clan, plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher: Kurenai. Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 521,150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. 160/200ths HP. CP 200/170ths. They were right. The bugs might not have taken away a lot, but if the battle had gone on longer, it would have been very bad. So Hinata, what you should learn from this is that you shouldn't be too comfortable, even if your opponent looks like they've lost. They could be trying to trick you into a trap. You should have used your Byakugan right away, too. If you had, you would have known Shino's trick was a lie. As a shinobi, you have to use everything you have, even if it's new to you, Kurenai told him. A 20-minute break was called for. Next up is Hinata vs. Kiba, Kurenai said. There is a new quest now. Quest: fighting Kiba with a sword. Goal: get rid of Kiba. Prizes: 250 express for success. Not working. 100 express. YN. Hinata was able to heal a bit during the break, and Shino hadn't done too much damage to her, so she was pretty much ready to go. HP: 168 200ths. CP: 178 200ths. When she woke up and went to Kiba, the first thing she did was send a steady flow of chakra to her eyes, which turned on her Byakugan. She chose to watch Kiba and his Ninken partner, just like she did with Shino. This is Inuzuka Kiba, 8th level, HP: 200 200ths. CP: 151 150ths. 20 for strength, 17 for dexterity, 18 for agility, 10 for vitality, 5 for intelligence, 4 for wisdom, 4 for charisma. There was no doubt that she had to be careful, since Kiba was much faster and stronger than her. However, she was a little better at handling her hands. This is Akamaru, level 5, HP: 200 200ths. CP: 131 130ths. 10 for strength, 10 for dexterity, 10 for agility, 10 for vitality, 3 for intelligence, 2 for wisdom, 2 for charisma. Akaru had great stats for his level, so she would need to keep an eye on the puppy. Okay, guys, are you ready? Kurenai said, and both of her students nodded. She said, begin. Kiba quickly got down on all fours, dashed at her, and jumped into the air while turning his body to get closer. Suga, passing Fang, was all Kiba could say as his body sped up and turned into a drill of fangs and claws. Hinata's eyes got really big when Kiba jumped up from where he was standing. She was so flexible that she was able to bend away and avoid getting hit full on, but the blow still hit her in the side and sent her flying to the ground. Because the hit gave Hinata momentum, she was able to roll with it and get back to her feet while Kiba flew off into the distance, leaving a big space between them. As Hinata calmed down and sat back down, she noticed that she was healthy. 128 out of 200. She didn't want to find out what would happen if she took the full attack because a quick hit took 40 HP away. Hinata quickly turned around and stepped to the side. As she did this, she sent a chakra-infused palm strike downward that connected with something flying through the air. Because Hinata could see almost completely around her, she saw Akamaru trying to attack her back with a Suga. Luckily for Akamaru, Hinata saw him coming and blocked his attack with a precise blow that sent the loyal dog crashing to the floor. Rainbow! Kiba yelled as he ran to help his partner. Hinata also rushed forward to attack Kiba up close when she saw this chance. She hit him several times with small blows. Hinata finally understood how amazing the Byakugan really was. She could see Kiba's muscles straining as he dodged her blows, and she could see how the tenketsu on his body sparkled like tiny stars as chakra moved through them. Several in his arm went dark, like a light had been turned off, as she hit him a few times. Kiba wasn't scared, though, and he used his faster speed to hit Hinata in the side, throwing her off balance. 105 200ths. Using that as an opening, Kiba was able to talk to his partner, who was lying on the ground. Akamaru, are you okay? Kiba said, getting a painful but happy woof from his dog friend. They got back into a low crouch after making sure his dog was okay. Hinata knew this meant they were about to use the Suga because she could see chakra building up. During this time, Hinata wished she knew her clan's Kaden rotation, which would have helped her stop the attack. However, she didn't know it, so she couldn't do anything when the two drills hit her and threw her flying. After some time, Hinata woke up and found herself lying comfortably under a tree with Kiba, who looked tired, next to her. When she stood up, she could see Shino sparring with Kurenai-sensei just a few meters away. Yo Hinata, you're up, Kiba said. Kiba-san, how long did I not wake up? Why? Hinata asked. It took Kiba about 40 minutes to answer. Hinata nodded and then took a quick look at herself. The Hyuga Hinata. Type: the gamer. Title: heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher: Kurenai Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 621,150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP, 32 200ths. CP, 200 150 seconds. 5 for strength. 21 0.21 for dexterity. 5 for agility. 10 for vitality. 10 for intelligence. 10 0.1 for wisdom. 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Jukin techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Plus 50% expressed to asterisk skills and shuriken. Point. 0. Bonus. 1. Rio. 500. Based on her health, 40 minutes seemed like a good amount of time for her to recover. In my match, I lost to Shino. His damn bugs drained Akamaru and me, and we used a lot of chakra against you. Hiba told her that Kurenai-sensei then chose to work on Shino's taijutsu for a while. It was Kurenai and Shino who came over at the same time. Okay team, I think that's enough for today. Tomorrow we'll do more, but for now that's enough. Starting today, we will spend 7 AM to 12 PM working on as many D-rank missions as we can. We will take a 1-hour lunch break at 1 PM and then focus on sparring until 2 PM. From 2 PM to 5 PM, we will either work on your individual skills or I may have a specific exercise for you. I will make changes to the schedule as I see fit, is that clear? I told Kurenai. Yes, sensei, her genin said. In a swirl of leaves, Kurenai said, okay team, good work for now. I'll see you all bright and early tomorrow. After the team went their separate ways, Hinata went to the Dragon of the West to get some food. On her way, she used her observe skill on everyone she saw, which helped her level it up 5 times in just a short walk. However, the skill didn't seem to reveal any new information yet, and each level required more observations. That being said, she could only see levels up to 28, so she thought she could only see 20 levels above herself. This meant she didn't know much about most of the shinobi, at least those above genin rank, and she only recognized about half of the chunin. She was sitting in a chair in the corner of the room, which was where she usually sat when she came here. The happy owner came over with her order. He wore red robes with white lotuses and a pale green apron. He looked to be in his 60s and had a round, happy face with his gray hair pulled back into a topknot. His beard had been trimmed into a goatee. The man said, "Ah Hinata-chan, so nice to see you again," as he took Hinata's order. It smelled like green tea and cinnamon buns were just baked, and Hinata couldn't take her eyes off of the tasty treats. Hyuga, who was normally very shy, would fight anyone who said otherwise. The Dragon of the West had the best tea and cakes of all the elemental nations. Naruto, poor, sweet, and naive, thought that ramen was the food of the gods. But Hinata knew the truth. Yes, ramen was tasty, but cinnamon buns were the real way to enlightenment, and she would show him that once they were married. Wait, Hinata's cheeks turned red because her body decided to send half of her blood to her face. Are you okay Hinata-chan, you look like you are feeling a bit ill. Then, after shaking her head and calming down, Hinata said, I'm fine, Oji-san. It was just a long day of training. Ah, training, yes, something I know very well of, he laughed. Back in the day I was something of a warrior myself, he told me. He asked, were you a shinobi, Oji-san? Something like that, sweetheart. It was getting cold, so he told them, don't let this old man hold you up any longer. He walked back to the kitchens. He was leaving when Hinata used her observe skill to take a quick look at him. Name: Iroh. Level: Iroh owns the Dragon of the West tea shop and runs it with his son Liu Ten. Iroh is very dedicated to making the best tea in the world. He used to own a shop in Tetsu no Kuni called the Jasmine Dragon, but bad luck forced him to quit and move to Konoha. Let's just say Hinata was shocked. Oji-san had to be pretty strong for her not to be able to see his level. A strange thing that caught Hinata's attention was that Iroh's son Liu Ten came out from behind with a worried look on his face. There was also a floating question mark above his head. She went over to see what was going on and asked Liu Ten-san, is everything okay? Why? She asked. Ah, Hinata-san, I seem to be in a bit of a predicament. The shipment of flour we ordered has not seemed to have arrived yet, and father wanted to start on another batch of cinnamon buns soon, but we currently can't. Hinata was shocked. She couldn't stand the idea of no cinnamon buns. The individual quest: gather the flour for the quest. 100 express as a reward, 100 yen extra goal. Get all the flour in less than an hour. Extra reward: 100 experience points. Individual quests are ones that can be made by one person or a group in response to a need. Many people can offer quests, and as you gain reputation, you may be able to access more quests with better rewards. Quests that are easy for your level are shown in white, those that are medium are shown in yellow, those that are hard are shown in red, and those that are extremely dangerous and could have far-reaching effects are shown in black. I don't mind collecting it for you. I am finished for the day and it's only 5 p.m. so I don't have to be home yet, Hinata said. Are you sure? The bags are pretty heavy, and it's on the other side of town, Lu-ten said. She smiled and said, don't worry, Lu-ten-san. I can handle it. Okay, in that case I am counting on you, Hinata-san, said Lu-ten. As Hinata left the store, she saw a timer appear in the corner of her eye and start counting down from 1 hour. Hinata ran as fast as she could to get to the other side of the village right away. A special action has made a new skill possible. Level of running. 1. Agility is raised by 1% passively. Hinata felt her body even out and her form improve as she ran. She wasn't going any faster than her normal sprint, but her form seemed to get better, which meant she wasted less energy while she was moving. With the new skill she had learned, she was able to cross the village in 15 minutes and get to where the flour was. The manager took her to the back, where she saw 8 big bags full of flour. It broke her heart. She couldn't carry all that. As she carried the bags into the store, she realized she didn't have to. She had never done this before with something this big, but she crossed her fingers and pushed the bag in. The air around it started to change shape, and then it was gone. After checking her inventory, she saw that 1 bag of flour was already there. With a big smile, she put the other bags in the inventory and then left again. There was another time when Hinata worked hard to get back quickly, and she was rewarded for it. Agility has gone up by 1 because of hard physical activity. She got back to the shop with about 20 minutes to spare and ducked into an alley to sneak out with the goods without anyone noticing. Once they were gone, she stacked them in front of the shop before going to meet Lu-ten. Ah, Hinata, you're back. That was very fast. I can't thank you enough for your help, he said. The individual quest is over. Reward: 100 express, 100 yen, extra reward, 100 express. No problem, Lu-ten-san. I was happy to help, Hinata said with a smile, happy that no one would be turned away from the sweet perfection. When Hinata got home to the Hyuga estate, she was very tired. As she should have, she told her father she had come back in secret, hoping he would ask her about her day, but he just waved her off. Sad but not surprising, Hinata went to spend time with her sister Hanabi and then decided to help some branch family members in the kitchen. This earned her +20 reputation in the skill cooking, which didn't seem very useful at first, but she would keep putting it to use. After a quick bath, she changed into her pajamas and thought about what had happened during the day. Shino and Kiba were both very strong, and she would have to work hard to catch up. She had noticed that doing hard activities, like a short run, would raise her stats without leveling up. She thought that as her stats got higher, they would be harder to raise naturally, so when she leveled up, she would hold back the points and raise her strength the old-fashioned way first, since today showed she could get better pretty quickly. By giving your progression careful thought, your wisdom has grown by 1. In fact, it was well worth her time to improve her skills. The passive bonuses for her skills might not seem like much, but they could add up to a big boost. She already had passive bonuses for 3 stats, maybe there were skills for others. She might want to check out the library after training tomorrow. By giving your progression careful thought, your wisdom has grown by 1. It was making even more sense to her now that she thought about it. She might want to figure out how she wanted to specialize so that when the time came, she could spend her points most wisely instead of being too general. She thought she heard some of the boys call it min-maxing, when they were talking about their video games. By giving your progression careful thought, your wisdom has grown by 1. Any way you look at it, today was a pretty good first day as a genin. Hopefully tomorrow will be even better. The Hyuga Hinata. Type. The gamer. Title. Heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher. Kurenaya Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 821,150 seconds experience to move up to the next level. HP. 32/200ths. CP 200 150 seconds. 5 for strength. 21 0.21 for dexterity. Speed. 60.06. 10 for vitality. 10 for intelligence. 13 0.13 for wisdom. 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Juken techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Plus 50% expressed to asterisk skills and shuriken. Point. 0. Bonus. 1. Ryo. 600. Hinata got out of bed, stretched her arms out, and felt awake and alert. Her muscles were sore and stiff from sparring yesterday, but after a good night's sleep, she felt like she was in great shape today. Since it was 6 a.m., she had an hour to kill before she had to meet her team at the mission registry office. She was ready for the day after taking a shower, changing, and eating. When Hinata walked into the mission office, she saw that her team was already there. In her heart, she hoped that today's mission would be a little more satisfying than yesterday's. Shino nodded his head to show that he knew she was there when Kiba said, "Morning Hinata," in his usual happy voice. "Good morning Hinata, I am glad to see that all of you are here and I hope you are all not too tired after yesterday's events. Today we will be taking another D-rank mission today, hopefully we can get through more than one," said Kurenai. What the 3 new genin saw at the desk shocked them as they walked up to it. Kiba abruptly called out, "Uruka-sensei." "Hello Kurenai-san, Kiba-kun, Shino-kun, Hinata-san, I take it you are all here for a mission," Uruka said. The girl asked Uruka-sensei, what are you doing here?" Uruka replied with a small laugh, "The new students at the academy don't start for another 2 months, so I'm helping out in the mission office until then. I expect to see you all from time to time." The 3 genin nodded to show that they got it, but Hinata had a different question. Hinata tried not to blush as she asked, Sensei, have you seen Naruto-kun yet?" "Yes Hinata, actually I had ramen with him last night as he was telling me about how he passed his sensei's test," Uruka said. Kurenai said, "Wow, Kakashi actually passed a team. I'm shocked." "Why would that be strange, Sensei?" Shino asked in a serious voice. Hitaki Kakashi is one of the best Junin Konoha has to offer, but he's a bit strange," Kurenai sighed. "He is notorious for being late to everything, being a pervert and never passing a single genin team, so the fact he has done so now means he obviously saw something in the kids he got assigned, so if I were you 3 I would keep an eye out on that," she pointed out. Kibi bragged, "Hey, who cares? I bet they don't have anything on us." Yes, Kiba, now if we are done with boasting I think we should take a mission," Kurenai said. Kurenai went over to talk to Uruka, and Hinata could see them talking about what missions were open at the moment. Kurenai put the scroll away and said, "I think this one will do for now. Today our mission is to go to one of the farms on the east side of the village and help moving all the produce that has been collected from the field into one of the barns. I made a new quest. Helping the nearby farm is the quest. Prizes. 50 yen. 50 express. YN. As soon as Team 8 agreed to the quest, they crossed the village to meet the client at Musashi's farm. In his late 40s, Mr. Musashi was a man with dry, tanned skin and strong muscles from working every day in the fields. "Shinobi-san, I am glad you could make it. Normally this is the type of work I would be doing myself, but lately my back has been playing up. I need this month's harvest put in the barn as quickly as you can," he said. "Of course Musashi-san, my team and I will be more than happy to get this done for you," said Kurenai. They got a short nod from Mr. Musashi before he went back inside to do some work. Okay team, today's mission will be a lot more physically taxing than yesterday, but think of it as training, he said. The team replied, yes, sir. I saw that there were about 350 bags of vegetables that needed to be stored when I looked over at the pile. While Hinata almost wished she were alone, she couldn't use her inventory to get this done quickly because her team was with her. As it stood, she wasn't sure if she should tell her team because she didn't fully understand the power herself. She thought it would be best to keep it quiet for now. Okay Akamaru, I bet we can move more bags than both Shino and Hinata combined before the end of the mission, Kiba said. What the challenge is? Shono lets you store more bags than Kiba. Prizes. 50 Express. Question mark. Good name with Kiba. Question mark. Good name with Shino. Failed. 50 Express. 100 reputation points with Kiba. YN. Challenges are not the same as regular quests. Other people can issue challenges, and they often have an effect on your reputation. Challenges can lead to stronger friendships or rivalries over time, depending on what was done during the challenge. Warning, may lead to eternal rivals. In contrast to some quests, which may be required, challenges are completely up to you. When the message came up, Hinata blinked to decide if she wanted to accept it. On the one hand, it could help her get closer to one of her teammates. On the other hand, if she failed, she would really be back to square one with Kiba. She chose to be brave and pressed yes to take on the challenge. She said, Kiba-san, I think Shino and I will be able to store more than you will. Hinata acted sure of herself. I concur. While individually you would most certainly prevail, together I believe Hinata-san and I will prove to be a formidable opposition, said Aburame with stoicism. Kiba smiled in a wild way and said to Akamaru, looks like we have competition, boy. The dog barked in response. Kiba said, this will be fun. On your marks, get set, and go. As he ran toward the pile, with Hinata and Shino following him. As Kurenai watched from afar, she couldn't help but laugh at her team's antics. Well, they're kids, and I guess this way we might actually get 2 jobs done before lunch, she told herself. Kiba rushed over and put a bag of vegetables on his shoulder before running off very quickly, which Hinata saw. When Hinata got to the pile, she grabbed one of the bags and was shocked by how heavy it was. Each one seemed to weigh about 30 kilograms. She could see that Shino was having an even harder time until a bunch of bugs came out of his body and stuck to the bag to help him out a bit. Hinata could see Kiba running back for another bag as she picked up the first one. What's wrong, guys? You enjoy eating my dust that much? He asked with a cocky grin, which made his 2 teammates work harder. As quickly as they could, Shino and Hinata ran into the farmhouse and put their bags down. They then went back to the pile to get another one. This pattern kept going for a few minutes longer, but Kiba was able to get 3 for every 2 that Shino and Hinata brought. It took 10 minutes for Hinata, Shino, and Kiba to stack 30 bags, 15 each. Kiba had done 45. A message popped up as Hinata dumped her 15th bag. Strength has grown by 1 because of constant physical effort. Hinata could feel her muscles getting stronger and stronger. When she went to get the next bag, it did feel a little easier to carry. Shano was starting to slow down a bit to her left. It wasn't enough to stop him from performing, but she could see that he was getting sweaty. Kibi still looked like she had a lot of energy. Hinata chose to speed up, so she grabbed another bag and went to the barn. As the genin did the same boring task over and over, time seemed to blend together. After 10 minutes, Shino had delivered 14 more bags, Hinata had delivered 18, and Kiba had delivered 45 again. It wasn't a big difference, but the gap was getting smaller, and Kiba looked a little tired from working so hard from the start. Hinata wasn't tired at all, even though she should have been. She thought it might be a benefit of her gamer's body skill. After carrying a few bags, Hinata got another message. Strength has grown by 1 because of constant physical effort. This time, it took 20 bags before her strength went up, and she could feel her muscles getting stronger again. As time went on, Kiba made it through another 40 bags, Hinata got stronger by making it through 25 bags, and Shino made it through 13. Shino looked like he was out of breath at this point, and Kiba was wet with sweat. After 10 minutes, Hinata had packed 30 bags and felt stronger again. She was almost twice as strong as she was before the mission, but she thought the points were only coming so fast because her stats were so low to begin with. At this point, Shino could only carry 10 bags, and Kiba had dropped to 35 bags, which was a huge drop. Hinata did the math and saw that Kiba would still win at this rate, so she had to try taking 2 bags at once. The weight was making Hinata's knees buckle as she tried to lift them. But she wasn't going to give up, so she sent a surge of chakra to her legs and forced herself up. A new skill was made possible by a special action. Level 1 of Chakra Flow. Users can improve their physical stats by sending chakra to their limbs. While being active rises 20% more strength, by 20% in agility. It cost 20p per minute for CP. With a sudden boost of strength, Hinata got back up and made her way to the barn. Her increased speed and strength made her only slightly slower than when she was carrying a child. Shino and Kiba had both stopped, and Inuzuka was looking at Hinata like she had grown a second head. She hadn't noticed them. When the boy finally got himself together, Hinata had made 3 trips in that time. It was getting close. After 10 minutes, Hinata had gathered 28 bags, Shino had gathered 6, and Kiba had gathered 8. That left 3 bags. The 2 boys were both sweaty and tired, but Hinata only had a light sheen of sweat on her face. She knew she would not have made it this far without her ability, and she was mentally more tired than physically. But she had been using chakra flow for so long that she was now completely out of chakra. Her legs felt like lead because of this, because she was quite tired of chakra. When the 3 genin looked at each other, they saw that each of their friends was in the same bad shape, either physically or mentally worn out. At the start, Kiba ran as fast as he could because he knew he needed 2 bags to win. But Hinata and Shino were coming up behind him quickly. Kiba was much faster than his 2 teammates, even when he was tired. He got to the pile first and picked up 2 bags with his shoulders. Although Hinata was disappointed, she was proud of how well they did. But that sadness turned to shock when the boy who looked like a wild animal smiled while giving one of the bags to Hinata and the other to Shino. He then picked up the last bag himself. Hinata asked, "K Kiba-san, are you sure?" "I must agree Kiba-san, it is illogical to throw away a victory," Shino stated. With a cheeky grin, Kiba said, "This was the most fun I've had in a while, and it was a good competition. It was worth it to see little Hinata roid out and carry 2 bags." This made Hinata blush and hide under her coat. "But as I was running here I realized we're a team now, no more than that you 2 are part of the pack. I only pushed myself this hard because it was fun to do this with you guys, so 1 bag each, that's what I decided," he said with a firm nod. The face Kiba was making looked so serious that Hinata couldn't help but laugh. "Hey, don't laugh, I was trying to be all cool and stuff," Kiba said. Hinata said, "I'm sorry Kiba-kun, I thought you were really cool." "Oh, so I'm Kiba-kun now, well I guess that makes you Hinata-chan then," Kiba smiled. She blushed deeply and nodded her head. "I guess that makes you Shino-kun then," she said with a small smile, and the Aburame nodded. Later, she would swear she saw Shino's lips move, but Shino would strongly deny it. Team 8 finally put the last bags in the barn. Done with the challenge. Reward: 50 Express. I became friends with Inuzuka Kiba. Become friends with Aburame Shino. While Team 8 was leaving the barn, they saw Kurenai standing there with a knowing smile on her face. The 3 genin were embarrassed because they had forgotten all about her in their excitement. Hinata saw a message flash up that told her she had earned a new perk that she could check out later. It also reminded her that she still had 1 more perk point to spend. "Well, I don't think I have ever seen a group of genin take to AD rank so enthusiastically before," Kurenai said. "Oh, crap, I forgot that this was AD rank," Kiba said with a smirk. "First, the language. Second, you were the only one who could forget they were on a mission, Kiba," Kurenai said, shaking her head. "Hey, it's fine, we got the job done and in great time too," Kiba said. "Well, that's true. I didn't think you guys would finish in less than an hour, but that just means more D ranks," Kurenai said with a sly grin, making her 3 genin grunt. Kurenai said as he walked toward the main house, "Anyway, let's let the client know that we're done." Oh, before I forget, how did you carry 2 bags for so long, Hinata-chan? Kiba asked, which caught the attention of Shino and Kurenai as well. She stuttered, I just channeled a constant stream of chakra to my limbs. She saw that everyone was looking at her. Kiba asked, how would that help? Actually, that was something I was going to teach you 3 in the coming weeks, but since it's been brought up, we will work on it after sparring today. Hinata, did anyone teach you that? Kurenai was curious. Hinata said, no sensei, it just came to me in the moment, which made Kurenai smile with pride. Well, what you just did is actually a technique we call chakra flow. By channeling a constant stream of chakra to your limbs, you can boost your speed and strength. The more proficient you are, the bigger the boost. Kiba said, wow, that's pretty cool. It is, but it consumes a fair amount of chakra in the beginning, which reminds me, Hinata, how are you feeling? Kurenai pointed out, a bit tired sensei, mainly due to chakra exhaustion, but I have some soldier pills, so I will be fine. She looked happy. Team 8 kept the peace until they got back to the client, who was surprised and glad they were done so quickly. Well, I am very impressed. I'll make sure to spread the word that Team 8 was very helpful, said the client. The quest is over. Prizes. 50 yen. 50 express. Thank you for the compliment. Right team back to the mission office for one more before lunch. After one more dull D rank of walking the dogs from the Inuzuka kennels, which made Kiba happy, they ate lunch and met back at their training field. Following this, Team 8 had another round of sparring with the same goals of beating Shino and Kiba emerging. When Hinata faced Shino, she remembered to use her Byakugan, which made his Mushi Bunshin insect clone less effective. Together with her chakra flow technique, she was able to control the Aburame and block most of his Tenketsu. However, she was disappointed that when she used 2 techniques that used a lot of chakra along with Shino's Kikaichu insects, she lost her chakra for the second time that day and couldn't get the victory. Kurenai sensei told her to always be aware of her chakra reserves, especially since she knew she still had another opponent to face. He praised her for a huge improvement over yesterday's performance. Because of this, Kurenai decided that Hinata would not play in her second match against Kiba because she was too tired. Due to Shino's injuries from Hinata, Kiba was able to quickly beat him, which was the exact opposite of their last fight. Kurenai said this was a good idea because on missions you might not be in the best shape, but you might have to fight an enemy while you're not feeling your best. During the rest of the training time, Kurenai gave them a talk on how to manipulate chakra and use technique. Hinata learned something from the talk that he gave on the spot. Kurenai finally let them do the technique when Kiba started to pull out his hair from boredom. Hinata even talked her sensei into letting her join in. Because I used the move so much that day, my chakra flow went up a level. Hinata noticed that this skill took a long time to level up because she had to use up all of her reserves twice just to get one level up. Still, it was worth it because it gave her an extra 1% of strength and agility when she was active. It was time for Team 8 to break up after a hard training session, but not before they agreed to get back together on their only day off in 5 days for a team bonding session to celebrate their first week as genin. Hinata finally got to the Konoha Shinobi Library around 5:30. The library was 4 stories high and had a floor on the first floor with materials that genin could use. Tokubetsu Junin could get to the 3rd floor, and Chunin could get to the 2nd. The Junin section was on the 4th floor. For safety reasons, the library didn't have any books above the B rank. You could ask for those books at the Hokage Tower, where they would be looked over by a group of specially chosen Junin. Even though academy students weren't allowed inside, it was still a great place for a new genin to learn a lot. Hinata also wasn't allowed into the main library of her clan. This was probably done to avoid her because the elders of the clan thought her sister would make a better heir. Because of this, Hinata hadn't had the chance to learn any new techniques. As Hinata walked into the library, she showed the Chunin her shinobi ID. The Chunin smiled and let her in. While Hinata walked into the library, she couldn't help but smile. The musty smell hit her right away. There was a dusty, slightly musty smell coming from the scrolls on the shelf that she could smell. It was nice. There were 4 sections in the library on the genin floor. One had books on genjutsu, the other did ninjutsu, and the third had other skills. When Hinata went into the genin section of the library, she saw only a few people, and she knew one of them. In the skills section of the library, Hinata could clearly see Haruno Sakura's pink hair sitting next to a mountain of scrolls and taking notes quickly. As the girl looked like she was concentrating, Hinata moved to the far side of the section so as not to bother her. There were both books and scrolls in this section of the library, which was well put together. This section had information on everything from how to control chakras to how to fix plumbing problems. When shinobi were on assignment, they were often told to fit in, so learning a trade skill was always a good idea. Today, Hinata realized that her techniques were using up too much chakra. She needed to find a way to either make her chakra last longer or make her techniques less powerful. Another thing to keep in mind is that it would be smart to make a fitness plan instead of just going out and not getting enough out of it. She thought about asking Neji Ni-san's sensei for help, but she knew that would make things worse. Hinata chose to get some books on chakra control and physical training. While she was there, she also saw some interesting looking books on making healing salves, since most medical books were in the Chunin and above sections. When Hinata found a quiet place to read, she started to read. The books on chakra control were very interesting, and before she knew it, 2 hours had passed and she had received 2 alerts that her intelligence had grown. It looked like she could also improve her stats by studying. The book talked about chakra natures and shape manipulation, but only briefly. A thought that came to her was to ask someone the method to find out what kind of person she was. She saw a window appear when she reached for the next book on chakra control. Would you like to learn how to stick leaves together? YN. Hinata had never heard of this before, so she clicked yes, because it sounded interesting. As she did this, the book broke up into tiny bits of light that seemed to merge with her body. Skill books. If a person meets the requirements to learn a skill, they can start learning it right away at the basic level. You can only use skill books once. Leaf sticking is a new skill that was learned at level 1. Cut all techniques chakra costs by 5%. It costs 5p per minute. Hinata's eyes grew big as she looked at the information. She knew right away how to do the leaf sticking exercise. It was to prove this that she tore up a scrap of paper and watched as chakra made it stick to her forehead. It was amazing how quickly she had learned a new skill. If this worked for jutsu, she could grow even faster. It dawned on her that she had just damaged library property as the high wore off. There was a crime going on here, so Hinata turned pale. Luckily, no one else noticed because the room was so quiet and the genin section wasn't well guarded. After calming down, Hinata felt a little bad about what she had done, but what was done was done. Luckily, one of the library's shinobi could make a copy of a text for her own use for a fee, though it was a bit pricey. Hinata spent the next hour reading her remaining books and learning something new. During this time, another book told her she should learn how to make healing salve, but she didn't want to risk her luck. She also made her own training plan that she thought would help her improve while keeping her stats balanced until she decided what she wanted to get better at. After putting her books away, Hinata looked over at the stairs that led to the Chunin section of the library. That's when she saw a new quest. I made a new quest. Goal: sneak into the Chunin area. Reward: 2000 express. You can use Chunin grade materials until you get caught or leave. Failed. Questioned at the department for interrogation and torture. Ninja license could be taken away. YN. When Hinata read the quest's requirements, she blinked and quickly pressed the "No" button to close the screen. The rewards were good, but the risk of failing was too high for her to think about. She also didn't care about the moral implications, which sounds very strange coming from a shinobi. Hinata went over to the Chunin at the desk to ask how much it costs to make copies of books. This took her mind off the thought of being questioned. She was upset that each book would cost about 1500 ryo, which was way too much for her to pay. That meant she couldn't save up jutsu until she had more money, which was a shame. Still, Hinata thought as she walked home and checked her phone's status, it had been a good day. The Hyuga Hinata. Type: the gamer. Title: heir of the Hyuga clan plus 10% more experience with Juken and Byakugan. Teacher: Kurenaya Genjutsu learning rates go up by 50%, and skills and intelligence go up by 1 per level. Level 8. 1080 1152 experience to move up to the next level. HP. 200 200ths. CP. 230 230ths. 9 for strength. 21 0.21 for dexterity. Speed. 60.06. 10 for vitality. 13 for intelligence. 13 0.13 for wisdom. 1 for charisma. Present. If you're timid, you lose 20% of the reputation gain below friendly and 20% of the experience gain to Jukin techniques. Plus 2 dexterity per level for joints that are flexible. Question mark. Plus 50% express 2. Skills and jutsu. Point. 0. Bonus. 1. Ryo. 700. It was weird to think that she had gotten so much stronger in such a short amount of time. She almost beat Shino, who was ranked second in their year at the academy. Soon, if she kept getting better at this rate, she might be able to win. The thought that she could get better so quickly scared her. The past few years had been hard for her. She really thought she was a failure because everyone else thought so. She didn't have any Byakugan, her Jukin was terrible, and she didn't believe in herself. Hinata thought, well, at least I'm getting better at some of those things. She wanted to be a child again and run home to show her proud father her Byakugan, since he still thought she hadn't unlocked it. The logical part of her that had been tamed by years of being laughed at told her she shouldn't, but it would only look like the slow child finally getting to the starting line, not like she had accomplished anything. Oh no, she wouldn't tell anyone right now. She would wait for a time when she could make her dad proud. Hinata was thinking so hard that she didn't notice the person coming at her fast until it was too late. By that time, their bodies were a mess on the floor. The voice on top of her said, "Oof, well at least something soft stopped my fall." When Hinata realized someone was lying on top of her, it took her a moment to calm down. She first felt a lump in her chest and a mess of spiky blonde hair right next to her face. He asked, "Man, this feels soft. What are those balloons?" While this was going on, Hinata lost it. "Naruto, on top of me," she thought as her face turned red. Naruto yelled, "Aw crap," when he realized what he was holding on to. He then jumped into the air like a scared kitten. He put his hand over his face as if he were going to be hit and said, "Ah Hinata-chan, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to." The words, "En Naruto-kun," came out very slowly for Hinata. Naruto looked at Hinata through his hands and said, It wasn't on purpose. I would never do that." He thought her confused and red face meant she was angry. I mean not that they weren't nice, I bet a lot of guys would want to do that. I'm just surprised they were that big," Naruto said. "Not that I'm a pervert or anything, it was totally an accident and a Hinata oi Hinata wake up," were the last words Hinata heard because she couldn't figure out what was going on around her. Hinata was slowly waking up after having the weirdest dream that Naruto had just pulled her close and felt her. This made her laugh in a sexual way. "Gigi, are you sure she doesn't need to go to the hospital? Her face was really red and she might have hit her head on the floor," Naruto asked. "Based on the story you just told me, I am slightly surprised you are not the one on the floor unconscious, Naruto-kun," said a senior. "Yay, no kidding Gigi. One time I accidentally brushed against Sakura-chan and she beat me into the floor," Naruto told me. "Yes, those of the fairer sex, for all their allure and mystery, can transform at the drop of a hat into terrifying creatures," said the elderly voice. "Even for you Gigi, but you're the Hokage, the strongest in the whole village. What do you have to be scared of?" pointed out Naruto. The Hokage, who had now been identified, laughed lightly. "Ah Naruto, my boy, after many years on this earth I have learned to fear above all others, and that is a woman's scorn." Naruto wailed, "Oh man, Hinata is going to beat the crap out of me." "Well, there are worse ways to go out. You got something out of it, didn't you?" the Hokage asked as he laughed at his young charge's shame. Hinata's face had been getting redder and redder the whole time they were talking, but she chose to sit up in shame at this point. After a moment, Hinata saw the Hokage laughing and Naruto's face lit up with fear. She couldn't do anything but look away from them and nervously press her fingers together. The Hokage told Naruto, "Okay, I think you owe Hinata an apology." He said, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry Hinata-chan, I wasn't paying attention and knocked you down. I'm also sorry for that." He rubbed the back of his head in shame. "It's okay, Naruto-kun. I know it was an accident," she stuttered, her face red from remembering what she had done. He said with excitement, "To make it up to you, how about I buy you a bowl of ramen?" When the child did something silly, Hiruzen sighed and said, "Naruto-kun, not everyone loves ramen as much as you do." "What? But ramen is the best, it is the food of the gods," he said loudly. With a mean look, Hiruzen said, "Whether that's true or not, why don't you ask Hinata what she wants to eat?" Naruto smiled one of his few real smiles and asked Hinata-chan, "Oh yeah, what would you like?" She smiled and said, "Well, I could go for some ramen about now." Her mind was on it for a moment. His cry of, "Yes, Hinata-chan is the best," made the girl turn red again. With Uzumaki Naruto, reputation went up by 300. Hinata saw the Hokage smile and shake his head at her and her friend out of the corner of her eye. "Tell you what, Naruto-kun, why don't I join you? My treat, it's getting late now and I could do with some food," said Hiruzen. Naruto said with a cheer, "Really Gigi, that's great. Thank you for being kind, Hokage-sama," Hinata said with a bow. "Don't worry about it, kids. Let's go get some food now," Hiruzen told them as he grabbed both of their shoulders and vanished in a cloud of leaves. A bowl of miso ramen was being eaten by Hinata at the bar in Ichiraku Ramen. It wasn't quite as good as cinnamon bun, but it was close. There was pork ramen being eaten by Naruto and beef ramen being eaten by the Hokage. Naruto slurped down more ramen and asked, "Hey Gigi, what was that swirly move you used to get us here? Kakashi-sensei did the same thing to us on the test." That Naruto is the Shunshin no Jutsu body flicker technique, a D-rank technique used for short-distance instantaneous movement. Hiruzen told us. Naruto begged Gigi, "Wow, that's cool. Will you teach me?" "Well, I don't have time to teach you," Hiruzen said after seeing Naruto's disappointed face. He seemed to think about it for a moment. "But I can give you a scroll so you can learn yourself. Think of it as a reward for passing your genin test. You may have one as well if you like, Hinata," said Hiruzen. "Thank you Hokage-sama, thanks Gigi." When they picked up the scroll tomorrow, they got a kick-ass new jutsu, which made them happy. The three of them then went back to eating. Soon after, they were both done, but Hinata thought the Hokage could answer a question she had. Hokage-sama, Hinata said slowly. Hiruzen said with a raised eyebrow, "Yes, Hinata." She began, "I was in the library earlier today." Hiruzen looked at Naruto with a critical eye and said, "A great way to spend your time. And I was reading a book on chakra control and it mentioned chakra natures. Do you know how I would find out my chakra nature?" Hinata asked me. The Naruto asked Gigi, "Hey, what is a chakra nature?" "A chakra nature, Naruto, is which direction your chakra is naturally aligned to. Now can you tell me the 5 main chakra natures?" Kaden fire release, Futon wind release, Raiden lightning release, Uma. Naruto stumbled around. Suiten water release and Doden earth release was the last word Hinata said. Hiru said, "Very good, both of you. Yes, a person's chakra will always be aligned to one of these main elements. What this means is that they will have a type of jutsu that is easier to master than others. For example, if you had an affinity for fire, you could learn Kaden jutsu more easily. However, you would find Suiten jutsu more difficult to learn." Hiruzen told me. "Hey, that must be how Sasuke Tem can throw around loads of fireballs so easily," Naruto thought. Naruto asked Gigi, "Hey, how do you find out your chakra nature?" "Well, those with a very high level of chakra control can use a simple leaf, but for others chakra paper is the better option." Hinata asked, "Chakra paper?" "Yes, chakra paper is a special chakra-sensitive material made from special trees only found in Konoha and is one of our main exports. By channeling a small amount of chakra into the paper, one can learn their elemental affinity. If the paper burns, it is Kaden. If it crumbles, it is Doden. If it scrunches up and crinkles, Raiden, becomes wet Suiten, and finally if it tears, Futon." Hiruzen told us. "Hikage, where can we get some chakra paper?" That's what Hinata asked. "Well, I happen to have 2 pieces on me right now, so if you'd like, we could find out now," Hiruzen said, and the kids enthusiastically nodded. She was given a square piece of paper and looked at it with interest. At the same time, she heard a loud ripping sound to her side. The Naruto asked Gigi, "Hey, does that mean I have a wind affinity?" Naruto gave Hiruzen a mean look as he said, "Yes, Naruto, it does, and it's a very strong wind affinity at that. Futon is naturally strong against Raiden but weak against Kaden. Man is weak to fire," Naruto said. Now none of that Naruto, while it may be weak to fire, wind is often considered the most offensive element, some even going as far as to call it the battle element, he said. Unfortunately in the land of fire we have few futon masters and only two I can think of in Konoha, Hiruzen said. Naruto jumped right up in front of the Hokage and asked, "Hey Gigi, would you please introduce me?" His eyes were sparkling. Naruto-kun, relax, I'm not sure that is a good idea at the moment. Most shinobi don't begin elemental manipulation until they reach the rank of Chunin, but if you prove to me you are ready I will put in a recommendation in the coming months, deal? Hiruzen said. Naruto smiled and said, "Okay, Gigi. Hey Hinata-chan, your turn. I bet you have a kick-ass element too." Naruto smiled. She nodded her head and looked at the piece of paper. She sent a steady flow of chakra into it and waited patiently for a response. After a short time of nothing happening, she sped things up. After a short while more, she let a flood of chakra flow into the paper, turning it blue and making a bead of sweat run down her forehead. After a moment, she let out a gasp of exhaustion and a confused look, but the paper was already gone. Naruto said, "Stupid thing's broken," as he tested it by pushing his chakra into it and making it rip again. "What?" Naruto asked, confused. He didn't notice the strange look Hiruzen gave Hinata. Hiruzen said to himself, "That's strange." Hinata said, Hokage-sama, what does that mean?" I can't say I have ever encountered this before. It may mean that you are no more inclined for one element than any other. Perhaps you are incapable of elemental manipulation, or it could mean something entirely different." Intriguing. Hiruzen thought about. "Don't let it discourage you, however. For now we will monitor the situation and see how it progresses," Hiruzen said. "Yes, Hokage-sama." After saying good night to them both, Hinata began her walk home. She had a lot on her mind. It was strange that the chakra paper didn't respond to her chakra. This made a lot of people pay attention to her. Because of her strange reaction to the chakra paper, she was a little afraid that her power would be found out, but all she could do for now was wait. Even though she planned to tell everyone eventually, she would have liked to keep it a secret for now so she could surprise the people who spoke badly about her and wouldn't talk to her. She was also afraid of what people would do if they found out that Konoha had another powerful bloodline that was even scarier than the Byakugan. This was because Kumo almost took her hostage. Hinata wanted to do what her Nara classmate did and say that the situation was bothersome so she could take a nap, but she couldn't. Thought about her situation, Hinata's mind went back to something that might help her. She called out, "Perks," and a new screen came up. Right now perks. Asuka gone. Team 8. Friendship. Your stats went up by 10% when you worked together with Team 8. Offers and perks. Earth and Water Chakra. 1 point. Chakra Spirit Wind. 1 point. Animal Fire Chakra. 1 point. Earth's Chakra 1 point. Lightning in the Chakrasa 1 point. Black Widow. Deals 25% more damage to people of the opposite sex. This is worth 1 point. Educated. 1 extra point for every level, 1 point. Explorer. Can show a minimap and advanced Huda 1 point. Extra 10 CP per level for the Chakra Battery, 1 point. Vitality gives you an extra 10 HP per level for 1 point. When Hinata looked at her perks screen, she thought that maybe the chakra paper didn't work because she hadn't bought a nature yet, but it would when she did. This made her think more. She knew she had 1 extra perk point. At level 10, she would get another 1. Being almost level 9, it wasn't impossible that she would get the extra perk soon. It was a long day for her, no matter what. She would think about it more in the morning.
I will continue the story in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.